I'm Drew Thorwall, and this is Apologaming. On today's episode, we're looking at Final Fantasy XIII from the long-running popular series by Square Enix, which has some really interesting comments about God, which they call the Maker.
Why? To restore the Maker.
The Maker?
The entity responsible for creating both humans and fal'Cie. Long ago, the Maker departed this world, leaving the two races behind. In a sense, human and fal'Cie are brothers, orphaned by the same parent. As for the humans, they forgot the order imposed by the Maker. They began to war amongst themselves for the first time in history. The fal'Cie focused on recalling their lost deity and returning the world to its former glory. This purpose lies at the heart of all their actions. Calling back the Maker requires a fitting sacrifice.
Yeah, we've heard. The destruction of Cocoon.
The lives of this world's entire populace in bloody tribute.
Okay, so here's the picture Final Fantasy XIII paints. God is gone. We failed his plan. We have to be destroyed to bring him back. Here's the real picture. God never left. But we did fail his plan. However, he sacrificed himself to bring us back. So they got one thing very right. We failed God's plan. But the question is God gone? And do we have to be destroyed to get things back on track? We really answered the first part of that in episode 1 when we looked at Metro Last Light. So let's focus on the other part. The bit about everyone needing to die? Yeah, that little doozy. Death is the punishment for sin. That we sin might be another way of saying we failed God's plan. Adam and Eve failed his plan when they ate from the wrong tree in the Garden of Eden. God's chosen people, Israel, failed his plan time and time again when they disobeyed him and followed idols. We fail his plan as individuals every time that we sin against God. In fact, Romans 3:23 tells us that we all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. Everyone has failed his plan. And yet, God did not give up on his plan. Now, if that's me, if it was my plan and everybody sinned against me, I'd probably just say, forget it. Scrap the project. Start over. They blew it, and this mess ain't worth dealing with. In fact, really, that's the exact plot that's set forth by Reigns in this scene from Final Fantasy XIII. The only way to set things right, he says, is for everyone to die, to scrap the mess. And in a sense, that's really what we deserve for our sinfulness. Fortunately, for all of us, God is much more patient and much more loving. We deserve death, but God offers life. Remember that verse from the end of episode 1, just a little later in Romans? Romans 5:8. But God demonstrated his own love for us in this: while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. And again in Romans 6:23, he says that the wages of sin is death, but the gift of God is eternal life. Death is what we earned, but life is what you can be given if you get back on God's plan. That life comes not because God ignored the penalty we deserved, but because he came to earth to be like us, to take the punishment for us. That's Jesus. That's the good news.